Manchester United summer clear-out, complete guide to the biggest rebuild in years. Hello everyone and welcome back to United Daily Updates. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this is your trusted source for all the latest Manchester United news, transfer updates, and in-depth analysis. We break down everything happening at Old Trafford so you never miss a beat. Today we have some absolutely massive news that could change the entire future of Manchester United. We are talking about one of the biggest squad overhauls in recent history. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let me walk you through everything you need to know about this potential summer clear-out. The big breaking news. The news that has shocked the Manchester United world is this: the club is preparing to sell up to 11 players during the summer transfer window. Yes, you heard that right. 11 players could be on their way out of Old Trafford. But here is where it gets even more shocking. Among those 11 players is none other than our captain, Bruno Fernandes. The Portuguese midfielder who has been the heart and soul of this team since he arrived in January 2020 might be sold to fund a complete squad rebuild. This is not just any normal summer transfer window. This is a total revolution. Ruben Amorim and the club's leadership are ready to make the tough decisions needed to turn Manchester United back into the powerhouse we all know and love. Who could be sold this summer? Let me break down the list of players who could potentially leave the club. Some of these names will surprise you. Some will make sense. But all of them together show just how serious the club is about starting fresh. Bruno Fernandes. Starting with the biggest name on the list, Bruno Fernandes could actually leave Manchester United this summer. I know that sounds crazy. Bruno has been our best player for years. He has scored goals, created chances, and led the team through some really difficult times. But here is the situation. Bruno is now 31 years old. He has a release clause in his contract that allows overseas clubs to buy him for around £57 million. There are reports that Saudi Arabian clubs, especially Al Hilal, are very interested in signing him. Some reports even suggest that a deal worth £100 million has already been agreed in principle. Think about what that money could do for the club. £100 million could fund the signings of 2 or 3 young, hungry midfielders who fit perfectly into Ruben Amorim's system. It is a difficult decision, but it might be the right one for the long-term future of the club. Bruno himself has said he will not make any decisions about his future until after the 2026 World Cup. He wants to focus on playing at the highest level for Portugal. But the reality is that if a massive offer comes in this summer, the club might seriously consider it. Kobbie Mainoo. This is another name that will shock many United fans. Kobbie Mainoo, our young English midfielder who showed so much promise, could also be on his way out. Reports say that Mainoo requested a loan move last summer because he was not getting enough game time. The club rejected that request, but things have not improved much this season. Mainoo has not started a single Premier League match this season. For a young player who needs regular football to develop, that is a serious problem. If he is not going to play regularly for the first team, then maybe a permanent move makes sense for both the player and the club. Selling Mainoo would be a tough pill to swallow. He is an English talent who came through our academy. But if he is not in Amorim's plans, then keeping him on the bench does nobody any good. Manuel Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte is another midfielder who could leave. The Uruguayan midfielder joined the club not too long ago, but he has struggled to make an impact. Ruben Amorim himself has criticized Ugarte for struggling in training. That is never a good sign. Ugarte has only featured in 3 matches this season, and United lost all 3 of those games. When your manager is publicly saying you are struggling and you are not getting game time, it is pretty clear that a move away might be best for everyone involved. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is currently on loan at Barcelona, and the Spanish Giants have an option to buy him for £30 million. From what we are hearing, Barcelona are very happy with his performances. He has scored 6 goals and provided 9 assists in just 16 matches for them. If Barcelona decide to make the move permanent, that would free up Rashford's massive wages from United payroll. Reports suggest Rashford earns around £325,000 per week. Getting that off the books would give the club a lot more financial flexibility. It is sad to think about Rashford leaving permanently. He is a homegrown player who has been with the club since he was a kid. But sometimes players need a fresh start, and Barcelona seems to be giving him exactly that. Rasmus Højlund. Another surprising name is Rasmus Højlund. The young Danish striker who joined United with so much promise is reportedly on loan at Napoli right now. The interesting part is that Napoli have an obligation to buy him for £38 million next year. That means Højlund is basically already sold. The club will receive £38 million for him, which can be reinvested into the squad. It is disappointing because Højlund showed flashes of real quality, but he never quite found consistency at United. Casemiro. Casemiro is a name that most fans expected to see on this list. The Brazilian midfielder will be 34 years old in February, and his contract expires at the end of this season. He is one of the highest paid players at the club, and his performances have declined significantly over the past year. Letting Casemiro leave on a free transfer makes perfect sense. He has been a great servant to the club, but at his age and with his wages, it is time to move on. His departure will save the club a fortune in wages that can be used to sign younger, more dynamic midfielders. Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is another player whose time at Manchester United looks to be over. He is currently on loan at Aston Villa, and his contract expires at the end of the season. That means he will leave on a free transfer. Sancho's United career has been nothing short of a disaster. He joined from Borussia Dortmund for £71 million back in 2021. Since then, he has scored just 12 goals and registered 6 assists in 81 appearances. Those are shocking numbers for a player who cost that much money. Getting his £300,000 per week wages off the books will be a huge relief for the club. Sancho is probably one of the worst signings in Manchester United history when you consider the fee, wages, and actual output. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is in the final 7 months of his contract, and at 33 years old next summer, it is unclear if the club will offer him a new deal. Maguire has been at United for several years now, and while he has had some good moments, he has also been criticised heavily. If Maguire leaves, the club loses one of their senior leaders. But they also free up significant wages and a spot for a younger, faster centre-back who fits better into Amorim's system. Altay Bayindir. Altay Bayindir, the backup goalkeeper, could also be moved on. He has barely played since joining the club, and if he wants regular first-team football, he will need to leave. Goalkeepers need game time to stay sharp, and sitting on the bench at United is not helping his career. Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee is another player who could leave due to lack of playing time. He has found it difficult to break into the first team, and if Amorim does not see him as part of his plans, then a move away makes sense. Tyrell Malacia. Finally, Tyrell Malacia could also be sold. The Dutch left-back has struggled with injuries and has not been able to establish himself in the team. With the club looking to sign a new wing-back, Malacia might find himself surplus to requirements. Why is this happening now? You might be asking yourself, why is Manchester United doing this? Why are they willing to sell so many players, including the captain? Let me explain the thinking behind this massive overhaul. The financial reality. First, there is the financial situation. Manchester United need to be careful with their spending because of the Premier League's financial rules. The club has already committed to spending £89 million on players they signed in previous windows. That money needs to be paid before they can spend big on new signings. By selling these 11 players, United could raise a huge amount of money. Bruno Fernandes alone could bring in £100 million. Add Rashford's £30 million, Hodgland's £38 million, and suddenly you are looking at well over £150 million just from 3 players. But it is not just about the transfer fees. The club would also save an estimated £2.1 million per week in wages. That is over £100 million per year in wage savings. That money can be used to sign younger players on lower wages, which is much better for the long-term financial health of the club. The performance problem. Second, there is the simple fact that the current squad is not good enough. Manchester United currently sit in 10th place in the Premier League. Last season was even worse, with the club finishing in 15th place and losing the Europa League final to Tottenham. Those results are simply not acceptable for a club of United's size and ambition. The club's data department did a detailed analysis of why the team struggled so much last season. They found that the biggest problem was a lack of goals. The team was not creating enough chances and was not finishing the chances they did create. That is why the club spent over £200 million this past summer on attacking players like Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko. But fixing the attack was only the first step. The midfield also needs a major upgrade. The current midfield options are either too old like Casemiro, not performing like Ugarte, or not getting game time like Mainoo. A complete refresh is needed. The system change. Third, Ruben Amorim has a very specific system he wants to play. He uses a 3-4-2-1 formation that requires very specific types of players. Not every player in the current squad fits that system. Amorim needs dynamic wingbacks who can attack and defend. He needs midfielders who can control games and win the ball back quickly. He needs attackers who can press from the front and create chances. If the current players cannot do those things, then they need to be replaced with players who can. This is not about blaming the players. Many of them are good footballers. But if they do not fit the system, then it does not matter how good they are individually. The team will continue to struggle. The age profile. Fourth, the club wants to lower the average age of the squad. Too many players are in their 30s or approaching their 30s. Bruno Fernandes is 31. Casemiro will be 34. Harry Maguire will be 33. These players are still capable of playing at a high level, but they are past their prime. United want to build a squad of young, hungry players who can grow together and dominate for the next 5 to 10 years. That means moving on from the older players and bringing in talents in their early 20s who can develop under Amorim's coaching. Who could come in? So if all these players leave, who is going to replace them? The good news is that Manchester United have identified several targets. Let me walk you through the main players the club is interested in signing. The midfield targets. The priority for United is signing at least one, and possibly 2 or 3, central midfielders. The club has identified 7 main targets in this position. Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest is one of the top targets. The young English midfielder has been excellent for Forest this season. He is energetic, technically good, and has the kind of pressing intensity that Amorim loves. Anderson is under 23 years old, so he fits the profile of a young player who can grow with the team. Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace is another highly rated target. Wharton has been a key player for Palace, helping them push up the table with some really impressive performances. He is comfortable on the ball, can pick out passes, and has the maturity of a much older player despite being so young. Palace will not want to sell him, but if United come in with a big offer, they might have to listen. Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba from Brighton is a player United have been tracking for a while. The club made inquiries about him in the summer, but Brighton wanted £115 million for him. That was way too much. But if Brighton lower their asking price, United will definitely be interested again. Baleba is a powerful midfielder who can break up play and drive forward with the ball. He has had a shaky start to this season, but the talent is clearly there. At just 21 years old, he has plenty of time to develop into a top player. João Gomes. João Gomes from Wolverhampton Wanderers is another name on the list. The Brazilian midfielder is valued at around £44 million. He is a tough, aggressive player who can win the ball back and start attacks. Wolves are struggling near the relegation zone, which might make them more willing to sell if a good offer comes in. Andre is João Gomes' teammate at Wolves, and he is also being considered. Having 2 players from the same team shows that United scouts have been watching Wolves closely. Despite Wolves' struggles as a team, both Gomes and Andre have shown quality individually. Angelo Stiller. Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart in Germany is another target. He is a technically gifted midfielder who can control the tempo of games. Bringing in a player from the Bundesliga would add some variety to the midfield and give Amorim different tactical options. Conor Gallagher. Finally, Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid is on the list. Gallagher was a Chelsea player for many years before moving to Spain. He is an energetic midfielder who covers a lot of ground and brings real intensity to games. He might be looking for a return to the Premier League, which could work in United's favour. The wing-back targets. In addition to midfielders, United also want to sign at least one new wing-back. Amorim's system relies heavily on the wing-backs providing width and attacking threat. The current options are not good enough for what he needs. One name that has been mentioned is Dimarco from Inter Milan. He has years of top-level experience playing as a left wing-back in a similar system to what Amorim uses. He would be an experienced addition who could come in and make an immediate impact. The club is also looking at younger wing-back options, but specific names have not been revealed yet. What we do know is that this position is a definite priority for the summer. The youth options. It is worth mentioning that United also have some talented young players in their academy who could be promoted to the first team. Players like Harry Amas, Aidan Heaven, and Diego Leon have all been mentioned as potential future first-team players. Amas is currently on loan at Sheffield Wednesday and has been starting regularly. If he continues to develop well, he could come back and compete for a spot as a wing-back next season. Leon signed for United in the summer but is still adapting to English football. He could also be an option. Using academy players would save money and continue the tradition of United giving young players a chance. But they need to be good enough to compete at the highest level. Amorim will give them opportunities, but they need to take them. What this means for United's future. This potential summer clear-out is about more than just buying and selling players. It represents a complete change in direction for Manchester United. Let me explain what this could mean for the club's future. A new identity. First, this gives United a chance to create a new identity. For too long, the team has been a mix of different managers' signings who do not really fit together. Some players were signed for counter-attacking football. Others were signed for possession-based football. The result is a squad that does not have a clear style or identity. With Amorim now in charge and having the freedom to build his own squad, United can finally develop a consistent playing style. Every player will be signed because they fit the system. Every player will know exactly what their role is. This kind of clarity is essential for success. A younger squad. Second, the squad will be much younger. As I mentioned earlier, too many players are past their prime. By moving on from the older players and bringing in talents in their early 20s, United can build a squad that will stay together and improve for years to come. Young players also tend to work harder and press more intensely, which is exactly what Amorim's system requires. They are more coachable and more willing to adapt to new tactical ideas. This could make a huge difference in how the team performs. Financial sustainability. Third, this approach is much better for the club's long-term finances. By selling high earners and replacing them with younger players on lower wages, United can get their wage bill under control. This will help the club comply with financial fair play rules and give them more flexibility in future transfer windows. The club has already reduced their wage bill from £364.7 million in the 2023-24 season to £313 million in 2024-25. If these 11 players leave, that number will drop even further. Lower wages mean more money available for transfer fees and better long-term financial health. The risk factor. But we also need to talk about the risks. This is a massive gamble. Selling 11 players, including your captain and some of your best performers, is incredibly risky. What if the new signings do not work out? What if the young players are not ready for the pressure? Manchester United have not had a great track record with transfers in recent years. For every Bruno Fernandes success story, there is a Jadon Sancho disaster. The club need to make sure they get these signings right, or this entire rebuild could backfire badly. There is also the question of leadership. If Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire both leave, who becomes the leader in the dressing room? Who steps up when things get tough? The club would be left with Diogo Dalot, Lisandro Martinez, and Nasser Mazraoui as the main senior players. That might not be enough leadership for such a young squad. European qualification. Another important factor is European qualification. If United finish in the top 6 and qualify for European football next season, they will have a much bigger budget for transfers. European football also makes the club more attractive to potential signings. But if United fail to qualify for Europe for a second straight season, it becomes much harder to attract top players. Why would a highly rated young midfielder choose United over a club playing in the Champions League? This is something the club need to think carefully about. The timeline. So when will all of this happen? Let me break down the expected timeline for these changes. January transfer window. The January transfer window is coming up soon. However, most reports suggest that United will not make major signings in January. The club wants to wait until the summer when they can go after their top targets without the pressure of mid-season negotiations. That said, there could be some departures in January. If a player is clearly not in Amorim's plans and another club makes a good offer, United might let them leave early. This would free up wages and give the player a chance to play regularly elsewhere. End of season decisions. At the end of this season, several contracts will expire. Casemiro, Harry Maguire, and Jadon Sancho will all be free agents unless they sign new deals. Based on current reports, it seems very unlikely that any of them will stay. There will also be decisions to make on the various loan players. Marcus Rashford at Barcelona, Rasmus Højlund at Napoli, Jadon Sancho at Aston Villa. All of these loans have either options or obligations to buy, so those situations will be resolved one way or another. Summer transfer window. The summer transfer window is when the real action will happen. This is when United will look to sign multiple midfielders and at least one wing-back. This is also when big money sales like Bruno Fernandes could happen. The club will want to get their business done early. Bringing in new players before pre-season starts is crucial because it gives them time to integrate into the team and learn Amorim's system. Last-minute signings often struggle because they do not have that preparation time. Pre-season 2026. Pre-season will be absolutely crucial for this new-look United squad. Amorim will need to use that time to drill his tactics into the new players and build team chemistry. Reports suggest the club is planning bonding trips to Portugal and Dubai to help the squad come together off the pitch as well. If United can have a strong pre-season and start the 2025-26 campaign with some good results, it will build momentum and confidence. But if the new signings take time to adapt and the team struggles early on, the pressure on Amorim will be enormous. What fans are saying. The United fan base is divided on this news. Let me share some of the different perspectives I have seen from fans. The optimists. Some fans are excited about this clear-out. They see it as a necessary step to finally move forward. These fans point out that the current squad has proven they are not good enough. Drastic times call for drastic measures. If it takes selling the captain to fund a proper rebuild, then so be it. These optimistic fans trust Ruben Amorim to identify the right players and build a winning team. They point to his success at Sporting CP, where he won league titles by developing young players and implementing a clear system. If he could do it there, why not at United? The worried. Other fans are deeply worried about this approach. They fear that selling so many players at once could create chaos. What if the new signings do not work out? What if we sell Bruno and cannot find anyone nearly as good? What if we end up even worse than we are now? These worried fans also point out that United have made so many transfer mistakes in recent years. Why should we trust the club to suddenly get everything right this time? There is a real concern that this could set the club back even further if it goes wrong. The middle ground. Then there are fans who see both sides of the argument. They understand why the club wants to rebuild, but they think selling 11 players might be going too far. Maybe keep a few more experienced players to provide stability while bringing in young talents gradually. These fans would prefer to see a more measured approach. Sell 5 or 6 players instead of 11. Keep Bruno for 1 more year. Make sure you have the right replacements lined up before you let anyone leave. It is about managing risk while still making progress. Comparing to other big rebuilds. To understand whether this approach can work, it helps to look at how other top clubs have handled similar situations. Liverpool under Klopp. When Jurgen Klopp took over at Liverpool, he inherited a squad that was not good enough. He did not try to fix everything in one summer. Instead, he gradually improved the squad over several transfer windows. He kept some experienced players while bringing in new talents bit by bit. It took Klopp 3 years to win the Champions League and 4 years to win the Premier League. But when success came, it was sustainable because the squad had been built carefully and methodically. Manchester City under Guardiola. Pep Guardiola's first season at Manchester City was difficult. The squad did not fit his style, and they finished without a trophy. But City backed him with huge investment. They signed multiple fullbacks, a new goalkeeper, and several midfielders. The overhaul was massive. By his second season, City were transformed. They won the league with 100 points. It shows that a major overhaul can work if you get the signings right and if the players buy into the manager's methods. Chelsea under multiple managers. Chelsea have gone through several rebuilds in recent years, and the results have been mixed. They have spent enormous amounts of money but have struggled for consistency. The problem is that they keep changing managers, so each rebuild gets interrupted before it can be completed. This is a warning for United. If Amorim does not get time to see his vision through, the rebuild will fail. The club need to be patient and accept that there will be bumps along the way. The Ruben Amorim factor. Everything about this rebuild depends on Ruben Amorim. Is he the right manager to lead Manchester United back to the top? Let me share what we know about him and his methods. His track record. Amorim had huge success at Sporting CP in Portugal. He won 2 league titles and broke the dominance of Benfica and Porto. He did this by implementing a clear tactical system and developing young players into stars. Many of the players he worked with at Sporting went on to join big clubs across Europe. This shows that his coaching improves players and helps them reach their potential. If he can do the same at United, the young players coming in could become world-class talents. His tactical approach. Amorim is very particular about tactics. He uses a 3-4-2-1 formation and demands that players understand their roles perfectly. His teams are organized, press aggressively, and play with high intensity. This system has worked well when he has the right players for it. At Sporting, he had wing-backs who could cover huge distances, central midfielders who could control games, and forwards who could press and finish chances. If he can build the same thing at United, the team could be very effective. The challenges he faces. But managing Manchester United is a completely different challenge compared to Sporting CP. The pressure is much greater. The expectations are much higher. The scrutiny from media and fans is relentless. Amorim has had a difficult time so far at United. The team finished 15th last season and currently sits 10th. Those results are simply not good enough, and patience is running out. If the team does not improve quickly, he could face the same fate as his predecessors. The club need to back him with the players he wants, but he also needs to show that he can get results with those players. It is a two-way street. Both the club and the manager need to deliver. What happens if this fails? We need to be realistic and consider what happens if this massive rebuild does not work out. What if United sell all these players, bring in the replacements, and still struggle? What then? The manager under pressure. If results do not improve, Amorim will be under enormous pressure. Manchester United have sacked 3 managers in recent years: Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Erik ten Hag. All 3 were given time and money, but when results did not come, they were let go. Amorim knows this history. He knows that if this rebuild fails, he will probably lose his job. That is the harsh reality of managing a club like United. You are only as good as your last result. The financial consequences. There would also be serious financial consequences if this fails. If United sell all these players and the replacements do not work out, they would need to go back into the transfer market again. That means spending even more money on top of what they have already spent. The club cannot afford to keep making expensive mistakes. Financial fair play rules limit how much they can spend. If they waste money on signings that do not work out, it could set them back for years. Fan anger. The fans would also be furious if this rebuild fails. United supporters have been incredibly patient over the past decade. They have watched the club struggle while rivals like Manchester City and Liverpool have dominated. If this rebuild fails, that patience will run out. There would be protests, calls for the owners to sell, demands for a complete change in leadership. The atmosphere around the club would become toxic. That would make it even harder to attract top players and managers in the future. How fans can support the team. So what can United fans do during this period of transition? How can we support the team while this rebuild takes place? Be patient. First and foremost, we need to be patient. Rebuilds take time. Liverpool took several years to become champions under Klopp. Manchester City took time to dominate under Guardiola. We cannot expect instant results. There will be bad results along the way. There will be matches where the team looks lost. There will be moments when you want to scream at the TV. But we need to remember that this is a process. Give Amorim time to implement his ideas and for the new players to gel together. Support the young players. Second, we need to support the young players coming in. They will make mistakes. They will have bad games. They might struggle with the pressure of playing for such a massive club. But that is normal. Every top player has gone through that stage. Instead of criticizing them harshly when they make errors, we should encourage them. Remember that they are learning and developing. With time and support, they could become the stars that lead United back to glory. Trust the process. Third, we need to trust the process. The club have done their research. They have identified the players they want. They have a clear plan for how they want to play. We might not agree with every decision, but we need to trust that there is a method behind it all. If we constantly question everything and create negativity, it makes the job harder for everyone. The players feel the pressure. The manager feels the pressure. It creates a toxic environment where nobody can perform their best. Stay connected. Finally, stay connected with the club. Keep following the news. Keep watching the matches. Keep engaging with other fans. This community is what makes Manchester United special. We have supporters all around the world who love this club just as much as we do. No matter how tough things get, we are all in this together. The club has been through difficult periods before and has always come back stronger. This time will be no different. Final thoughts. So there you have it. A complete breakdown of Manchester United's potential summer clear-out. Up to 11 players could leave, including captain Bruno Fernandes. The club wants to bring in young, hungry talents who fit Ruben Amorim's system. Multiple midfielders and at least one wingback are targets. This is a massive gamble. If it works, United could become a force again within a few years. If it fails, the club could be set back even further. Everything depends on making the right signings and giving Amorim time to build his team. My personal view is that this clear-out needed to happen. The current squad has proven they are not good enough. Too many players are past their prime or do not fit the system. A fresh start is necessary. But the club absolutely must get the recruitment right this time. No more expensive mistakes. No more signings who do not work out. What do you think about all of this? Are you excited about the potential clear-out, or are you worried it might go wrong? Which players would you keep, and which would you sell? Who should United target to replace them? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your opinions and having these discussions with you all. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more United fans. And if you have not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. United Daily Updates is your go-to source for everything Manchester United. We cover every breaking news story, every transfer rumor, and every match analysis. This is where United fans come together to share their passion for the club we all love. Thank you so much for watching today. Stay positive, stay patient, and remember that better days are coming for Manchester United. We have been through tough times before, and we always come back stronger. This rebuild might take time, but if we stick together and support the team, I truly believe we can get back to where we belong. Until next time, keep the red flag flying high. Come on, United!